Um, yeah, let's jump right into it. Hope you all having a good Saturday afternoon out here running errands. You know how it is. I wanted to really do a follow up on the video that I did before the other day. And shout out to everybody. Shout out to the super chats, cash apps, the new subscribers, the people coming through. It seems like you all are responding really well to me having more panels. So I'll try to do that. I have kind of like my recurring people, and to try to get that stuff a lot more, crisp and ironed out as far as shout out to E, shout out to Smurgo. Everybody seems to develop their own like supporting cast, so that's good. That's definitely something I may increase in the future. What's up, Excalibur? So shout out to all of y'all. I appreciate the support you all are giving, that you all are finding value in some of the things I say. And yes, I am always I do need to kind of get just a lot more focus and really accelerate this to the next level. So stay tuned. But I want to jump right into it. So you see the title, the greatest lie that black women have been told. That's what I should have really said and left it at that. But I wanted to add on they hold to it because they do. And I'm not gonna talk about it for make y'all wait 30 minutes before I give y'all the answer. Let me give you the answer directly, and then let me explain it. So the answer to that is the greatest lie black women have ever been told. Let's is the idea that in order for black women to win, black men need to lose. No other woman, show me any other woman, even women out, or they have this preference. They see white men as a piece, something to upwardly move up for, right? You know, no other. I know of no other group that you really get the feeling as a group, and this is a group thing, that they believe. No, I didn't get your email. I gotta check it, Pharaoh. Um, that believe that in order for black women to win, black men need to lose. And this is not only a belief. This is a thing that black women and black men actively act on. Black men act on it by basically saying that black boys will just deal with it. Black boys need to figure it out. This is why Jason Black always talk about old niggas and shit. That's that mentality that black men see. A lot of these quote unquote old niggas don't tend to have that mentality for black women. They have that for men. That's that Highlander syndrome from an age standpoint. And you see it laterally, you see it vertically with age, you see it with people that are peers. That unnecessary competition, that unnecessary putting up roadblocks. Yeah, I'm talking about black people putting up roadblocks. Motherfuckers, like, for no reason, feeling way more comfortable. When I say helping men, I'm talking about like really helping women. Like, oh, like when you hear Damon Dash or even Tarina Sheet, they're like, yeah, man, I'm more comfortable, working with women than I am working with men, because they have this belief that they can control. They have this belief that they have a greater sense of control over women, or that women are going to be more appreciative. Sometimes that's true, sometimes that's not. So I'm not here to say it's never true, but my point is, dudes are really, really comfortable. It's like they're uncomfortable. I'm not saying all these guys that I mentioned, but it's like they always find a way. That Luciferian complex, as Max City Limits would say, and I know he didn't initially come up with that term, but that's where I heard it from. Or Highlander syndrome, as I say, it always kicks in with certain dudes. It's certain dudes that you always are going to eventually have a falling out with, because that's just the type of motherfucker they are. And I'm not even saying they're bad. I'm just saying they just don't know how to, they don't know how to have they don't know how to have a relationship, like a partnership or whatever it is built once. It's always this fucking like rams where horns got a lot. And I'm not saying obviously that's a part of manhood conflict, but we're talking about niggas that they gotta blow shit up. A lot of people are like that. I mean, BGS talks about this too when he talks about you gotta break up with black women in order for them to potentially act right. It's true. true for a lot of dudes too. A lot of dudes, you gotta have like a conflict, a battle with. A lot of these dudes need that because they always want to assess how you operate under pressure, but they don't want to do it in a healthy way. They do it in a very dysfunctional way, which is why black men don't seem to be able to aggregate shit. And then this head nigga in charge, which is really what the Luciferian complex or the goddamn Highlander syndrome issue is. But anyway, my point is, let me digress. The point is, even black men buy into that. You know, this is why black men are more comfortable voting women, helping women, putting money out for women. Y'all see it all the time with certain groups. And I'm not here to say who somebody should support or not support, but I'm just giving you the example. Dudes don't think about that. And you know they're looking at bullshit. You know they're looking at shit that don't matter. They're looking at how they have a sexual response. They're really paying for the sexual response that they're having to win. They can lie all they want to and say that's not at all what it is. But just because it's not a direct sexual response doesn't mean it's not an indirect, like you like somebody. There's a reason why people put attractive people in certain stuff. It's because there's a certain natural human inclination to do that. And that goes both ways. We can call it out for women and Derrick Jackson, but we can't call it out for people like Danica Marie Six Goddess. You can't call it out for that. And I know that's the case because when I show you somebody saying some real shit, like Love Dorsey, a lot of dudes out here fronting. Oh, man, how she sound, how this, how that. What the fuck does that have to do with what she's saying? She has to do. But I understand that's that. You know, I get it. Y'all people get mad when I call it out. But anyway, going back to the greatest lie that was ever told to black women, remember, I've said, well, let me dial it back. Let me double back. Black women, like, my point is, this is not just a thing that motherfuckers say. People act on it. When you look at the scholarships that black men have, fuck black men as adults. When you look at what black boys have to deal with, that very much shows you this mentality. When BGS was talking about his daughter and then how he has to like press her to teach him, like really put in time to teach him how to read and stuff like that. Like the fact that he has to press him, that's an example. But there's a lot of women like that. A lot of these women are not built how they used to be no more. Education was a thing with my mom. A lot of these women are not built like that no more. And they don't see it as an issue. And they don't understand that there is something very wrong with the fact that with girls, they'll opt a certain way. I mean, like when it comes to them wanting to advance. We like to say that the black community is backwards, but we say that, like, it's just like it's like white people saying racism exists. They're not going to do shit about it. We do the same shit. Oh, well, shit's backwards. We're not going to flip it. Because when people like Kevin Samuels actually says that he said black women need to actually cede a lot of the benefits that they get, because the benefits that they get in the short term and medium term is what has them fucked in the long term. The long term shit is where they're fucked up. And they don't understand that they're set up, they are set up that way, and they buy into their own bullshit. They buy into their own destruction with that shit. And there's nobody to talk to. Because by the time they realize what's happened, they're not going to be given a microphone by white daddy. They're not going to be given a microphone. They got to hold the L. And so what happens is, what starts happening? They start cracking. Because they don't have the ability to vent that frustration out to nobody. Other black folks are not going to help them. And they start cracking, like what you see today. Yeah, Jason Black called out Black Enterprise, and I didn't even notice that. But you're absolutely right, and I mean I did notice it because you see it on social media. All of this black female, like constant barrage. And what it does is women are actually acting on that, where they believe that in order for them to be successful, black men have to be, and they don't understand that their greatest resource is black men, which is why other women are tapping it when they run out of their motherfuckers to tap. And that's one of the things that black women get frustrated too. You know, a black woman, you know what a black woman would never ask? You will never see a black woman ask a non-black woman that deals with black men. What do you see in black men? Why do you date black men and don't exclusively date your people? You know what the reputation black men have. You know what their quote unquote status is. Why is it that? Because at the end of the day, what a woman says is irrelevant. What she does is what matters. And at the end of the day, even like when you look at Jenny Mai and Jeezy, look, Jenny Mai is not an ugly female. And at the end of the day, Jenny Mai didn't have kids. And Jeezy had kids with other women. So people can say, well, Jeezy's getting the short end of the stick, but Jeezy's in control of what he's dealing with. And there is something to be said about that. And there is something to be said about, and it shows you where the society kind of is. The fact that an Asian woman could tell a white man for 10 years, waste a white man's time, and then basically just have a baby all of a sudden out of the blue. That tells you what a culture is. And that culture is not, just like how that's not going to work out for white men. It's not that white men are going to be fucked up. It's that they're losing market share and they're just not used to doing that. It's the same thing with black women, where that shuffle's not going to work out for them. Most of them. It's not. The ones that want to compete and the ones that actually have practicality and common sense towards it, they'll be fine. But the ones that are pragmatic, but the ones that they have this ideal that they try to hold on to, and they just want to be defiant at what reality is showing them, women like Sicko, they're going to have problems. They're going to have, as one of my white mentors told me, they're going to have challenges. You're going to have challenges. And those challenges are not going to go away. Your anger, your rage, your hate, that's not going to fix shit. Nature does not give a fuck about that. And so going back to the greatest lie black women have ever been told is one of the fundamental premises of the gynocracy is in order for black women to win, black men need to lose. Like I was thinking of that dude, that Ryan dude that y'all said he was talking to me over a voice modulator. And then I asked him a very simple question, but it was a very poignant question saying, if this is true, isn't this true? And then he couldn't answer it. So he was like, nigga, you lose. Because this is how these niggas think. This is how and they get it from the bitches. It's a zero-sum game. And what women don't understand is the only reason why black women have been able to play that game up to this point is because black men have basically ceded a lot of capital to them. When I say capital, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about emotional capital, physical capital, trust capital, which is probably the second most important thing to actual tangible money. Trust capital is probably the most important intangible. Attention capital. If dudes redirect that for themselves and invest in themselves, which by the way we all agree on, even the dudes that are some of our critics, we'll call them honest critics, because we'll assume they're talking in good faith, like the Lapeef show. They're all about they've demonstrated that if self-improvement means self-improvement away from their ass, then they're fine with that. And that's where you had a lot of the friction with Courtney and them. Now you got King, he's on there. Well, King is a simp. King's manhood is basically reflected by how a female feels. And a lot of these guys don't understand that there's a fine line between your man, like people being under the umbrella of your manhood or the mantle of responsibility, and they get the benefits for compliance. There's a fine line between that and you niggas actually serving other people. You being a servant. Now in sales, when you're taught to sell right, you're taught that you sell from a perspective of service. So it's coming from a good place. But that's not the same thing. A lot of these dudes, they trick themselves into being emotionally led by women. So how that woman feels defines his manhood. That is not how that works. Because only black men operate that way as a group. And only those black men operate that way to that extent. Yeah, man, if you got it, why don't you just give it to her? Give her everything. Like niggas like this, like the Negroes like this, and it's not the first time that shit has come up. When the lead attorney was on there, and y'all saw what I said with the lead attorney when he was jumping on that dude. It's always these niggas. It's always these niggas where they're looking for validation in a woman's womb. I haven't used that in a long time. They're looking for their manhood in a woman's womb. And I'm not saying that that's not a part of it, but that ain't supposed to be all of the fucking, that ain't supposed to be 75% of the goddamn pie chart. Yeah, man, This is why these niggas, when you talk about exchanging direct money, these will be the niggas that will give away the store for a bitch. But you talk about directly exchanging money for an outcome, these are niggas that will give money to a woman with no outcome in mind, but feel like they're a man. But if you sit there and and God forbid, you want an actual outcome out of that bitch that you contract her ass for, now all of a sudden, oh, you a trick. This is the bullshit logic that a lot of these niggas have. That's not thought through. It's emotionally based and purely felt. It's not thought of, it's felt. Did you feel that idea? Did you conjure it up via feeling, or did you conjure it up actually by thinking? So now, anyway, going back to I digress from that tangent, but going back to the fucking greatest lie black women have ever been told. Feminists, most feminists, especially your second wave or third wave, they're taught to get married. Now, granted, those numbers are messing up because in general those numbers are going down. But these will be women that'll be feminists but still got a man. But black women don't understand. They don't understand that what they're telling you ain't what they doing. Even Beyonce, even Cardi B. And you're not observing what they do. This is how you know women ain't as gamed up as you think they are. You're not observing, you're not looking at the observable world as what people are actually doing versus what's coming out of their mouth and how that's not congruent with each other. You're just going along with the rah bullshit. The mob mentality. And at the end of the day, these women got you so fucked up. I'm talking about non-black women, that these black women basically got you giving them your men. Y'all are giving them your men, and by how you're acting. And what's crazy is when you look, this is how you know an article is written for a bitch. When you look at the headline and the headline is created in the form of a question, you know it's written for a bitch, and it has they have no intention of answering the question. The article is designed to hook you in with the question and then talk about the question without actually answering the question, and then put some ads in the question, in between the question, banners here, banners there. I'm dropping some really good like marketing game if you want to market the females. This is how I know shit is targeted at women. Because they ask, well, why is this? Why is that? It doesn't matter if it's men or whatever topic. Well, does this, or da. And that's not to say that you can't do that with black men too. You do it with niggas when you do Romanian women like black men? How does this feel about black men with the travel shit? So it can kind of jump both ways. But a lot of times women fall for that shit all the time. And when you read these articles, the questions are never answered. They're never answered. They're never even given any answers. It just talks about the question. Because women don't have an intention of answering it. Because in their minds, just by asking the question is them communicating what they feel about it. So the communication is actually in the question. Why? Like, it's like bullshit ass rhetorical shit. Why don't black men love black women? Or why do black men hate black women? Basically, the notion is black women hate black women. To answer that question, you're accepting to answer that question, you're accepting the premise of the question. You accept the premise of the question by answering the question. Which puts you in a position is you either answer the question or you have to basically break the question down in order to create a real actual communication out of the question, which means you're not really having an honest conversation. And this is why, a lot of times what I really be wanting to say on this shit is I don't accept the premise of the question to begin with. That's really what the direct answer of that would be. Why do black men hate black women? Well, I don't accept that question is not in this objection. Bullshit ass question. Because I don't accept the premise of the question to begin with. Because if black men hated black women, number one, black men wouldn't be around black women like that. And number two, black women wouldn't be able to do a lot of the shit that they do. Because black men wouldn't have no problems eliciting consequences to black women. So you have motherfuckers that they literally they hate. They literally, and these are not even in the people that hate black men. We're not even talking about the swinging from the tree bullshit. We're talking about the idea that women really have. And here's the trick bag. Here's the thing that here's the mind fuck. This is when Corey Holcomb would say this is wickedly brilliant. I love that phrase. Wickedly brilliant. The women don't understand that ultimately that fucks them up more than anybody. Because it creates a fucking logic loop. It creates a mind fuck. It creates a Chinese finger trap that basically has you by default antagonistic to your men. And by you being by default antagonistic to your men, it opens those men up for other women to just scoop their ass up like a factory. So as their men fall out of the requirements that they want, they can always come back and they always can do the least. They don't have to do a lot because they just got to be better than your ass. I don't have to outrun the bear. I just got to outrun your slow ass. And black women are damn me not moving at all. If you're a big white woman, guess what? You can get a black man because that nigga fuck a big black bitch. Black women have taught them that black fat women are cool. They don't understand that the mind is going to not differentiate fat black women from fat white women. Don't understand that. Make sure y'all get the likes up. So when you look at all of these arguments that get had, it's really predicated on women having their own therapy session. I'm talking about Obsidian. I'm talking about all of them. Ain't no profile. Damn me, every single black woman. You could argue that like 90%, if not more, of black women operate on this mentality. It's just a matter of degrees. It's just a matter of degrees. So, i.e., the profile is the women that have challenges with men and they can't articulate those challenges, or the challenges are always the same default bullshit. Those are the women that tend to have this problem. Black men do not believe that in order for them to win, black women have to lose. Black women believe in a zeitgeist, collective zeitgeist, that in order for them to be successful, black men have to lose. They don't see it as a we, they see it as a you versus me. And I know based on now a lot of them will be smart enough to pretend that they don't operate on that, but they do operate on that. And there's a lot of women that they got to plug in with other women and then they get in that mode. But black women are in that mode. And that's one, just like that strong independent. That's really where a lot of that strong independent woman bullshit manifests from. It's basically, I am who I am without you. No other group operates that way. So we already know how many women actually buy into the strong independent woman piece. You know, it's most. Now, do they buy into it? Now, the degrees to which they buy into it may vary. Granted. Granted. It's kind of like asking black men, how many black men don't like hip hop music? Now, me, I may be able to listen to it without thinking it's actually religious doctrine and acting on the music. I can see the music as a metaphor, but I like hip hop music. And then you got dudes that they buy into it as if it's religious text. And that's how you're supposed to live your life. It's kind of like that. You have very few black men that you're going to run across, African American men, that are going to say, I don't like hip hop music at all. That's how it is with this. So I don't need, so the profile of the woman is going to be, I mean, it could be a lot of profiles. Over 40, the spinsters you're talking about. It could be young women. You know, you look at a lot of women, most women that call in the Kevin show. But even other groups that are feminists, they don't have that like as a group. They may talk that shit, but they don't act on that shit when it comes to their men. Not to the point where they're just completely destroying the store. They may do the Game of Thrones power grab or slicing of the cake shit, yes. But they don't do the I'm destroying everything. I'm destroying the boys. I'm destroying everything. Yeah. So this is why these women are always like, and I'm thinking this. I'm also thinking about Courtney, because she wants to play like she's learning, she's growing, but she defaults to the same bullshit. Mm-hmm. Thank you. She defaults to the same bullshit. If you press her, hard enough, the shit comes out. And this ain't about, your interview with her, because that, that is what that is. I mean, but I'm talking about, a lot of these women, whether it's Goddess, Courtney, Danica, even though there's varying degrees to it, they understand like kind of what you should do, and their execution of that is better depending on who you're talking to. They still have these ideals. They still have these beliefs. And so the varying degrees are the varying degrees by which they will act on those beliefs. And this is why a lot of the are favored, is because they reflect those beliefs. You don't want to need a man? Then you choose a man that was destined to fail. You choose a man destined to fail so you can say, I tried. What do BGS say? These women, that they get married just so they can say they're not a spinster, but they really never intended on really being married? They always intended on getting a divorce. Marriage to them is like a long-term relationship, if that. They do a lot of what Jenny Mai did. What Jenny Mai did is like part of the course. And you got dudes coming in. A dude is never going to marry a chick with the intention of getting a divorce. But you got women doing that. This is why they're always so much more prepared than you are when they hit divorce. And then you still in shock. Why this woman, she's running plays. This is all a part of the plan, but you still figuring out the why. People still in hope that you could save the shit. Fuck is going on down here? This is the game. And a lot of dudes, they don't even conceive of this shit. And this is why they'll sit there and say, oh, well, you hate women, you do this, you do that. Because they can't even conceive this shit. Okay, so what the sorry, Obsidian. I didn't know you weren't a moderator. Type something in here so I can make you a moderator. Dollar Watcher, Obsidian can say whatever the fuck he wants to say. Why did you do that? If you weren't such a long time subscriber, Dollar Watcher, I would have removed your wrench for doing that. Obsidian, can you type something, please, so I can make you a moderator? I didn't know you were a moderator. I shouldn't have to tell y'all the obsidian shit is not like. Why are y'all? Oh man, y'all motherfuckers, man. Black exes. Okay, so would you be suitable? So would you be a suitable black woman to you? LOL. Relax, fellas. Only asking a question. Yeah, he's only asking a question. Why did y'all do that, man? Edward, I'm very curious exactly who you talking about. Yeah. All right. Like, are you fucking serious? Here, anyway. All right. I had you as a moderator. Y'all know good and goddamn well that content creators are not to be timed out like that. I don't know why y'all fronting. Y'all gonna have motherfuckers thinking I'm talking, being two faced to this mother or something. Yeah, and I was answering his question. Yeah, because y'all getting happy with the wrench, y'all. Some of y'all gonna get happy your ass all the way to losing the wrench. Cause y'all know me, I don't give a fuck about these wrenches. Cause I know how to go in there and kind of, anyway. Yes, that does, Obsidian. That includes the black women that are married. One thing that we've done is we've given black women that are married basically a free pass because they did it right. But yes, that includes them too. That includes most of them. It is because the women they do believe they need a black man to work with, they're called pygmies. And a lot of those women, the black women that are married, are the very black women that are thinking about divorce. You got women that they want especially women that are not married. I remember when Kevin Samuels did the show saying you're not supposed to hang with women that are not married. One of the reasons that I've observed is because a lot of these females, when they're not married, they tend to have a need because they don't want to be lonely to try to influence their wives to get divorced. I'll give you a perfect example. Well, whatever. I ain't gonna say that. But my point is, get divorced. And that's in the ear. You got people having divorce parties, females. So yeah, it does. This ain't no fuck that. This shit permeates the entirety, just like fucking fat bitches is most of these niggas, with few exceptions. I'm one of them. I'm sure you are too. We gotta stop. I'm not about, look, man, if something is more than 75%, I'm not playing the, well, what about this? What about that bullshit? The reality is, it is overwhelming. And it always shows up in these conversations. Always. This is why women don't want to give shit up because they don't see black men as an investment. They don't see black boys as an investment. When Ice Cube did the shit talking about the plan that he had, what did black women say? These are women that they owe their careers, like two of them, to Ice Cube. They said, what is in it for black women? That's the mentality. So I'm not about to sit there and then card off. No, this is most of them. And if it ain't it's a friend you know. And this is a lie. The lie that their men are something to be defeated, this fucks them up. This fucks up black men. I'm not even gonna act like it doesn't, but the truth is black men will be all right. This fucks black women up because this literally makes black women unable to deal with men in general. This is why I constantly tell guys, don't argue with black women. Tell them to go date out because you know they can't for the most part. Okay, Dollar Washer. All right, I got you. So yeah, and I'm tired of this kind of sneak bullshit where we're always kind of trying to figure it out, or it ain't that bad, or there's an exception to the rule. No, they all buy into this. This is one reason Ayanna Van Zam got pulled off the air. They all buy into this to varying degrees, or the ones that don't buy into it are going to be forced into buying into it. Ain't playing with these motherfuckers. You know how these women are when they start calling women pygmies. In order for them to win, you gotta lose. They like Thanos. It ain't no half measures. He's not capping. He's asking questions to probe, to get into the heart of what I'm talking about. That's what he's doing. Stop. He's not what he's doing, which is why I'm answering the questions. Some of y'all gotta recognize the game a little bit. Some of y'all gotta get off the wanting the red meat. I know y'all want the red meat, but everything can't be a primary. Yeah, everything can't be a primary. I understand what City is doing. Bringing a class action lawsuit. Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if y'all feel some type of way about Obsidian's interview with Courtney, y'all need to leave that in Obsidian's comment section and give him that engagement. Don't be in here. This ain't the time to be litigating that in my chat, because a lot of y'all feel some type of way I don't like about how he conducted that interview. Y'all need to let that shit go, or y'all need to go to his comment section and let him know how you feel. Don't come in here and then now he got to answer, but he ain't got to answer to y'all. So y'all need to kill that shit, because that's really what that is. A lot of y'all are mad. I don't know why O'Shea does interviews like that all the time. Well, Courtney, the thing about Courtney is, Courtney's one of these women that she knows how to play the part well, but she's one of these ones you got to really watch, because she knows how to play the part well. But she's one of these females that when she gets you where she wants you, she gonna default to basically her original base code. That's what she gonna do. And so, because Courtney doesn't come in the package, she comes in the package of wanting to do better. Dudes will trust her, and that has nothing to do with Obsidian's interview. But what I'm talking about, Black Hoover been on Courtney's case from the beginning. I gave Courtney a shot, but my thing is, Courtney has a lot of that basic black female code in her. So she talks about learning and growing, But that's that bullshit where that depends on the man. All that shit is a narrative. Like I told you, women don't change, they adjust. There's a difference. Well, Kay is the annoying one too, but Kay's the obviously annoying one. See, Kay's the type of person you get a real annoying motherfucker that helps you hide the ones you really need to look at too. So just because Kay's annoying doesn't mean Courtney doesn't need to be looked at as well. Courtney's problematic as well. Beauty doesn't matter. We're not talking like we're talking about how they operate with black men. Beauty is irrelevant. But Lauren seems cool though. Karen, it is the opinion of the Edward Anderson channel that when a black woman calls another black woman a pick me, that is equivalent to a white man calling a white woman a nigger lover. A pick me is the black female term for nigger lover. Kareen, I can tell you haven't seen as much of Courtney as I have. Courtney, okay, let me explain to you like why Courtney is problematic. Courtney is problematic because the thing that annoys me about Courtney is Courtney has a narrative. Courtney basically fucked up. She's one of these women that basically she had a good dude. She had a dude that probably would do anything for her. The dude probably hit most of the metrics that she wanted, you know, as far as the physical metrics and all that bullshit. And she fucked up. She basically allowed the basic black female programming to kick in. Her girls, her friends, whatever, however that manifests. And pretty much fuck up her, I don't know, well, no, she wasn't married. So fuck up her relationship. I know people like this today where they're married. They might as well be common law married. But for some reason, the female don't want to get married. I know a woman right now, and she's cool. She is cool. Very attractive. Very cool. Dude, I know the dude would be cool with getting married, but she's holding off on it. But she's pregnant with his kid, and he sees that as a step in the right direction. And I know the chick more than I know the dude. So I'm not even necessarily like on the dude's side, but I know how that pattern goes. Now they've like I said, they've lived together and they have lived together and they have, you know, they've been for a long time. So they might as well be common law married. And this is their first kid. But I know how that pattern goes because there's a reason these women don't want to commit. And there's a reason why they're more comfortable and it's comfortable committing to a baby because they see a baby as something they benefit from. If they want one, they see the obvious benefit of that. And this is a chick, no tattoos, no nothing, you know. And dude, and if you look at the dude she with, solid dude. Not this top 20%, but solid dude. You would say she picked right. As far as a dude that she know is gonna commit. And I'm not talking about a dude that's like a beta or anything, but a dude that she knows her value to him. That he yeah, that you ain't gotta worry about that. So she picked right. So there's situations like, so Courtney comes from that situation. But the thing is, she let shit get in her head. She and basically fucked up her relationship. And if you listen to the dude would probably be cool with getting back together. I don't know. I'm not gonna speak on that. But what I will say is, because of that, she has this narrative of everything being happily ever after. And if we just fight hard enough, everything will just be great. If we just say the right things and pretend, everything will look good. And anybody that argues against that narrative, she has a problem with. And usually what she'll say is cam up, or she'll start, saying you're a troll. But see, when JR was talking about dudes are going to start divorcing women, she didn't know how to handle that because she couldn't go into those initial, like, little sign language things. So she addressed it as it is. So she ended up saying, well, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know why. Because the more women that keep leaving these relationships, the more dudes are going to be looking at shit in the side eye. And Chicago Real told, Bill just don't leave relationships. Well, typically they don't. But a lot of the environment is changing. And that's, and look, I'll give even dudes like I'll give us the most credit, but I'll give a lot of people credit for that. And so, she doesn't like that. So her narrative is that everything can be reconciled. But see, here's the problem. I don't have an issue with that per se. But the problem is when you really get into the devil of the details of what it actually takes to reconcile, what has to be done, this is where the problems start. Because women want flawless victories. They want to reconcile without giving up shit. They don't want to meet any conditions of reconciliation or acquisition. They don't want to give shit up. And the reality is they're not reconciling with you, meaning they're getting their shit right and coming back to the men under the men's leadership. They want you to reconcile with them, which means you basically accept what they give you. They just put a nicer face on it. It's kind of the same trick that black people play with Democrats or Republicans. Face on it, but they're just as racist. But they say, oh, we're not like this. So they try to gauge themselves. It's like, oh, well, a D. Well, it's kind of like, people that talk about, oh, well, at least I passed. You passing don't mean shit. You get like a 75 and you think you did something because you passed. What the fuck? What the fuck is a pass? That's not recognized in my household. Pass or fail. No. We look at letters, not words. Not no, did you pass or fail? No, A, B, C, D, or F. And anything B or below is not acceptable. Not no, oh, well, at least I passed. This is how black women will do it. And so when you look at Courtney, and the reason why I focus on Courtney specifically, because women like Kay, they're obvious. Women that have they're tattooed up, they act like an obvious ratchet or 304, that's obvious. Even women like Kay that does that tattoo but act the way, that's obvious. Women like Tawana, those are obvious. They can't hide who they are. They can't hide it. Women like even the Six Goddess, if you get past, oh, she's attractive, okay. But once you get past that and you listen to what she says over time, you hear it. Dominica Marie is more right than wrong, but the shit that she's wrong on, she's like really wrong on. It's not some, oh, well, well, she's wrong on this, but that's not a big deal. No, she's really wrong on like some fundamentals, on some foundational shit. And so the shit that she's being right don't matter because the foundation she's wrong on. She still is teaching these women, she's not teaching these women how men ultimately, how they benefit from getting in line with a good man. She teaches them to still, that you can leverage a good man. You still need to get over. That's that get the bag bullshit. Not play your position and with the right man, and the right man will do everything he needs to do for you. No, get the bag that Nicole Michelle used to do. That I need to get over. I need to be winning. The concept of winning and losing should not be a concept that women have in relation to their men, because it puts you in a state of competition, which is why these bitches always talk about what degree they got. Yeah, conditional. There's no such fuck that. There's no such thing as conditional femininity. Because the truth is, when black women are conditional in their femininity, even if they're feminine with somebody for a second, it won't always be that way. Because when a lot of these women learn your habits and there's nothing new under the sun you're bringing to them, now they start being a flight risk or a turn risk or a trader risk. And dudes are not here to put that kind of investment in a bitch in order for a bitch to do that. And all of this like bitch management that black men have to do, women are not worth that. Because if you got to manage a bitch, then you're also going to manage the return on investment on a bitch. And some women are a lot easier to manage and much more return on investment. See, women don't want dudes thinking that way. They just want you running the hamster wheel. Black excellence, chill the fuck out. Yeah, Black Guru was talking to Courtney, on Courtney from the beginning. And it's not just Courtney. Like I said, Courtney represents those females that they like to play at both sides. They want it both ways. They want to do what the fuck they want to do when it's convenient, and then they want to play like the little damsel when they need a nigga to slide through and save their ass to revert back to who they were before. So she's like an amalgamation of that. And so with her, she'll play well, it depends on which man is talking bullshit, which is a red herring. Facts are facts no matter who's saying it. A fat bitch can make a point, and her being fat doesn't kill the point. So the reality is, women like Courtney, what they need to do is they need to get you in a sit down position so they can run game on you. And the longer you sit there and talk to them, especially most black men, because most black men rarely have women even being nice to them. This is why these women are able, when they get into their late 30s, try to reset shit. See, they would never be cool. See, the difference between a Courtney and a Crimson Cure is a Crimson Cure, a Kendra will understand that sometimes you just got to restart. And you just got to deal with younger women or different women. Courtney wouldn't agree to that. Because that doesn't benefit her initial, like her kind of, what she's trying to do, that doesn't benefit her worldview. So she won't sacrifice anything in her worldview because she's in it ultimately for her. She won't give things for the betterment of both. That's how it is. And when you actually press that, it comes out. And folks trying to negotiate with women like that, those are going to be the same women that turn on your ass. Or those are going to be the same women that you could have did better. You got to remember, if you're 50, like Obsidian says this, if you're 50, if you're really on point and you got your shit together, you dealing with a 38-year-old chick that's got a kid, nigga, you're settling. Point blank, period. Now, you may be happy with what you got, fine. But you could have did better than that. Not necessarily saying you got to go to 25, but you damn sure could have went to early 30s. Because think about it. Imagine if you're 7 years old, 45, let's say you're 46, and you get with a woman that's 38 that's got a kid and she has 2 more kids by you. Guess what? All of a sudden, you're literally buying a 40-year-old package. Because by the time she has those 2 kids, if she has those kids immediately, guess the fuck what? She's 40. So you're basically getting a middle-aged woman. And guess what? Because those women are older and therefore they have expectations based on them living life that's going to be more. They don't have less expectations than younger women. They have more expectations than younger women. You're actually paying a higher price for an inferior product. I'm sorry. That's how it is. And dudes like to believe in the magic that is women, so they don't think about this. Courtney is much more dangerous than Kay because Courtney knows how to shut the fuck up. You got to make Courtney mad in order for Courtney it to come out of Courtney. Kay don't know how to. Kay doesn't know how to turn the feminists off. She doesn't know how to code switch, or she doesn't feel like she has to because again, Courtney believes that. Oh well, I'm light skinned, so that will work on most niggas. Most dudes will give Kay carte blanche because she's lighter in tone. So in their mind, even if Kay has no intention of having sex with you, in the mind of a man that's even talking to her online, they're gonna try to be nice. They're not gonna be direct. They're gonna be real nice. They're gonna do what they need to do to not piss her off. They're not gonna press, because when I'm in that Lapeef group, I press Kay, not in a bad way, but I challenge her notions directly. I don't play that. Oh, well, I want to preserve this magical like status that I might have with her. A lot of niggas operate that way in these groups, and they don't know how to not do that, so they end up doing the reverse, which is trolling and shit. Glennon's Cameron's second channel. He's got a lot of channels. He's got The Corporate Citizen. He's got Savage Finance, but the new channel is called The Lost Kings. So type in Glennon Cameron, The Lost Kings in YouTube search. It should pop up. That's all that is. And Kay is intellect. They're both intellectually dishonest, but they're intellectually dishonest in different ways. Kay is very directly intellectually dishonest. I mean, shit, I'd like Obsidian to talk to Kay. I think that'd be a good conversation. Kay talked to Mr. Palmer. She plays like she doesn't know shit that she should obviously know. Like, one thing you got to understand about Kay is never going to give you more information. She'll never add information to a conversation unless it benefits her argument. She's always going to she's going to say as little as possible so that she doesn't fuck up your potential to agree with her for no reason. So Kay does what a lot of women do. They say as little as possible in order to see if you'll just come to their point of view on your own. And they only add in enough information to move the conversation along that moves their argument. That's a bad actor tactic. I'll give you all the information pretty much up front and say, this is my position, this is why, let's hash it out and see. And I know I'm right, but let's see, if you can add something to this that I haven't considered. And usually most people can't add jack shit that I haven't considered. So therefore the conclusion that I came up with is the conclusion. What variables do you have with this conclusion I've come to that I have not considered that may change my conclusion in whatever point that I've made? And nobody can answer that. They freeze. They're like, well, and they start repeating themselves and start telling a story and start doing that. And I know I tell stories too, but they say, so I'm like, okay, you have nothing else to add. Okay, so so the conclusion stands. What they do is they give as little info, and they'll try to say, well, we're being asked questions, so we don't add, but you're supposed to give a full, complete answer. Well, that's not how they'll use things, they'll say certain shit in order to make it seem like they're doing certain things when they're actually not. And a lot of that is lying by omission. That's that manipulative shit. And most dudes don't pick up on that because they believe women are sugar and spice and everything nice, and women are inherently good. And women will do the right thing because that's who women are, you dumb motherfuckers. Brothers should get behind Glennon. Glennon's one of the best YouTubers out there. Especially all these niggas that love to talk about receipts. Yeah, Karen talks a lot like Nurse Nerd in that way. Well, because I'm around women that's got some common sense, that just should be a whole bunch of them. Sorry, somebody gave me a $5. Appreciate Black Huru Strikes for the $5 super chat. I can't really see the cash apps if y'all supporting the cash app, so pardon me. So yeah, so my point in this video, and I woods with my videos, but my overall point with this video is that ultimately that black women competing with black men or believing that they're supposed to, that's not always going to be in this situation where they're trying to say it. Millennials are not going to lie to zillennials like Xers or other groups lied to us or withheld information. We're not going to do that. So this is really the last opportunity that people really have to really do something. And there's an urgency that women don't have when it comes to letting go of the bullshit. And Kevin has talked about, I'm not saying that really Kevin hasn't talked about in a different way, but if you look at how they call his channel, and it's not just him, it's Jason Black too. They can't help but let the bullshit go. They can't let go. They are incapable of letting it go. Some of them may be able to protect than others than to let it go. And it's like BGS said, that's who they are. And really the conversation is, can black men accept that's who most of these women are, and that's who they're going to be, and it's not going to change. That's a conversation for black men. And I mean individual black men. The mascot. Is the mascot in here? See what y'all talking about. Kareem says, why not just woman for you? This is what our macro statistics are for. 80% of black women are overweight, 50% are obese. What best women are you talking about? And best woman for you means any woman. And also, the reason why we have this conversation is because this conversation under the guise of actually wanting to have a black community. We obviously, SYSBM preaches to get the best woman for you, Kareem. The premise of this conversation, we want to have a black community because a black community benefits women more than it benefits men. Exactly, Kareem. So you're kind of talking about stuff, obviously you're welcome, but I'm talking about ADO shit. So you're kind of talking about things that don't really fit. These are cultural things that don't really match what you're talking about. And so there's a lot of background stuff you got to kind of understand in order to really get it. And that was kind of Nurse Nerd's kind of issue too. She didn't understand that. That's why when that bitch, that light-skinned chick tried to come at me, she couldn't, and it was funny because Nurse Nerd, oh, well, this is my friend. And she couldn't reconcile the fact that this is your friend, but this bitch is being stupid. And the argument is, oh, well, and she even understood it because that woman was wilding out so much, she gave her every opportunity to try to put the shit on me. Every opportunity Nurse Nerd gave her. But because she could not shut the fuck up for 2 seconds, I don't even know this woman. This woman, you would think I slapped her to the fucking floor the way she was talking to me. She just had this natural, like, rabid dog reaction, like a fucking chihuahua. When a chihuahua just starts shaking for no reason. That's what she started doing in her communication. And Nurse Nerd thought it was something I did at first. like before. And then she started to realize, no, this woman is just really wilding out. And you ain't really seen Nurse Nerd do any panels since then. And the thing that Nurse Nerd can't reconcile with is that a lot of these women do not have the capability of having these conversations because they are so knee deep in their bullshit, they cannot come out of it. They can, well, no, it's not. And then I say, where are you from? Oh, I'm from New York. I'm from the Bronx. No. And so she was like, oh, well, it's not that I can't talk to men. I just got, no, you can't talk to men. No, you cannot talk to men. If men are not kissing your ass and agreeing with what you got to say, you have a problem. And it doesn't always manifest in like an absolute bullshit like that. But it was the same thing with Pretty Kelly. She did it more soft core, where she soft shoe, where she would she would try to say, oh, well, I've never heard another man comment on another man's dick. She's also from New York, the Bronx. I just never heard of that. That like passive aggressive bullshit. They can't never, but that's not what a black who remembers that. That's not really what I'm talking about. When everybody call it out, she don't want to hold it. That's that manipulation. And it doesn't matter what form it comes in. Because women get into that mode where they don't see we, they see me. Shout out to Casual Observer. Black Guru does would make a good channel. No, it ain't about handling the pressure, Black Excellence. What it's about, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, y'all not gonna keep doing that. Obsidian is not somebody to be I told y'all once, and if y'all do it again, some of y'all gonna get blocked. Obsidian is not somebody to be interrogated. I said that already, but I'm gonna go so y'all got y'all once and final warning on that. Obsidian ain't somebody for y'all to put pressure on because y'all have an issue with him on some other bullshit. That's not how my channel operates. I've told y'all that. My only issue with the info is, do they even differentiate between non-ADOS from ADOS? Yes. Yes, they do. Kareen, and that's that bullshit that y'all do because y'all want to believe because y'all on the same skin color that y'all the same. These women will turn on your ass too. Y'all need to stop believing that identity bullshit. But the reality is, non-ADOS women can be on the bullshit too. But I'm specifically talking about ADOS women because that's who mostly black men deal with. I'm not gonna keep telling y'all that. Yeah, man, he dipped. I put pressure. Ain't no pressure. And y'all gonna start getting timed out for that shit. Y'all lucky I'm driving. Yeah, but I'm not gonna keep on trying to explain. I'm not gonna keep on explaining shit. I'm gonna just start reacting. I'm gonna just start responding. And this is and the reason why I'm kind of pressing you, Kareen, is because what you got to understand too is you have to understand that a lot of this shit just drags shit, because all of this is just another example of women not wanting to really call out what the problem is and drag shit. And see, when it's amazing how fast women can move when women got something they want to get. But other than that, they want to drag the shit with questions, drag the shit with understanding, drag the shit with reasons that we need to give them for why they do what they do. Drag, 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 drag. Let's ask all these fucking questions. Let's understand. This is what white people do with racism. That's time wasting. That's time wasting. And so when dudes just say, fuck it, SYSBM, now it's, you hate black women. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Because everybody spent time wasting time, because the time wasting tactics is designed to try to wait people out and get people to think how people want them to think. And so people are choosing teams even when they don't think they are. Well, women can't be that bad. And I'm surrounded by people just because you're an anomaly. Because most only 1 in 4 black women are married, and that includes ADOS black women. That number will be lower if you remove ADOS black women. If you remove ADOS black women out of it and baby boomers out of it, that number would be in the teens. So most black women are not married. And if you actually listen to what comes out of most black women's mouths, you very much see that they don't want to be married. They tell you they don't want to be married. They don't want to be married because, and they will tell you, Jackie O came on here. They don't see value in men. There's nothing that needs to be explained. They've said that. They are. It is so much time has been wasted, and so much dragging has happened. Women are just saying fuck it. They're just telling you what it is straight up because they just got to get it off their chest. And that's why people are like, why do y'all keep going on Kevin? Because they gotta tell their truth, which is they don't like you niggas. They gotta tell it, because that's how much time has been wasted. And even with black women literally yelling, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, black men ain't shit, I don't see a value for marriage, we still got motherfuckers wanting to ask questions as far as why, rather than acting on the information presented. And I'm not talking about you, Kareem, but I'm talking about men, a lot of people. And this is because black people cannot reconcile with what's right in front of them. That's a different type of problem. That's called denial. That's all that is. Black people are in absolute denial. So it doesn't matter what information is presented. It doesn't matter. I talk about the whys to help new people out here, but the whys are irrelevant. The whys are irrelevant because no matter what questions answered, the heart of it is really not a lot of things that are based in logic. It's really a feeling. It's really a feeling. And dudes just go along with it because, again, if nothing changes. And you don't really hit the emotional, you don't break the emotional glass ceiling that needs to be broken to actually affect change. And this is why the engine has stood as long as it has. I don't know. At the end of the day, that's what I saw you as, so that's why I'm calling it. That's what it is. And so dudes get frightened. I understand why y'all are supposedly frustrated with Obsidian's interview, but I don't give a fuck about that. He has a right to run his interview the way he runs it. And like I told you, if you have a problem with his interview, I got a lot of different people with a lot of different philosophies in my channel. Y'all need to take that up with him on his shit. This shit is not for, okay, well, you're here, so because you're here, I'm going to start throwing up on you because y'all are not that important. And I don't really appreciate that because it's like y'all understand that by you doing that, that is a reflection on me that I even allow you all to do that, which is why I'm speaking on it. And y'all don't understand that. Y'all are not really hearing that. Y'all are like, well, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. So if y'all going to do that, then I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I won't say every ADOS woman, but yeah. No, Kareen, it's nothing to shut up. I mean, you're bringing good points, and I'm explaining it. Just like with Obsidian, I'm explaining it. But what I'm explaining to you is that's what it is. Because these are not new conversations. These are not new conversations. They're not new. But people keep coming up with the same basic, initial conversations to keep this engine going. And that's not helping women. That's actually harming women. Because if you look at what women were pre-2010 versus post-2010, do you think black women as a group is getting better? Or do you think higher STDs, fatter, more depressed, fucking insane as a group is not improving? So ultimately, this stuff, men are less engaged than they were. This doesn't help women ultimately. It doesn't. And a lot of this stuff is done under the idea of protecting women. But anyway, y'all, this has been a great chat. I'm not gonna make it too long. I actually got shit to do today. So anyway, it's been a great conversation. You know, shout out to Obsidian. Yeah, make sure y'all sub to Obsidian, even if you love to hate them. Let's get Obsidian at 20,000 subscribers. You know, Obsidian's put a lot of work into his channel. And the thing about it is, if Obsidian makes content y'all don't like, then that gives content that we can talk about. So look at it. Even when you feel like you're losing, you're winning. What they say on training day, I can't even when I can't lose. Anyway, so with that being said, this is Edward. You know, make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you're new, make sure if you believe in the content, even if you don't donate, definitely share the content. And, you know, it is what it is. With that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.